assume for now that we want to solve the following inequality. So it's given by the square root of 1 minus x times x plus 2 is strictly greater than 2. So we want to find first the domain of definition for this one. We think of this one as a function. Okay, we want to find where this one is defined. And we know the square root in everything inside it has to be positive. That's why we have this one, this condition. So 1 minus x times x plus 2 is greater or equal than 0. This is the product of two polynomials of two conditions. Let's say this is, we have two conditions here. So to make sure to get the correct sign of this product, we make small table like the one I did here. So think of this one as a function. So it's 1 minus x times x plus 2, and we want to find what values, what interval makes this one bigger than 0. So we make small table. In the first row we have the values for x. So x can take any value between minus infinity and plus infinity. And the first row I make the first part, 1 minus x, and the second row I make the second one, x plus 2. Okay, so here on these columns, on top of that, I make the values that will make this one equal to 0. So this one, 1 minus x is 0, 1x is 1. This one is 0, 1x is minus 2. So for 1 minus x, it's positive 1x is less than 1. And it's negative 1x is bigger than 1 because of the minus sign here that we have. For x plus 2, it's negative 1x is less than minus 2, and it's positive 1x is bigger than minus 2. To get the sign of 1 minus x times x plus 2, just multiply. So here on each interval, so between 1 and plus infinity, 1 is negative, 1 is positive, so the product is negative. On the interval minus 2, 1, both of them are positive, so I have plus sign. On the interval minus infinity 2, I have 1 positive, 1 negative. So when I do the product, I get a negative sign. And since I'm interested in only the positive part, so I find this interval, minus 2, 1. So my x has to be in this interval. Okay, so assuming that, so let's solve for x between minus 2 and 1. So now we can square both sides. So I get 1 minus x times x plus 2 bigger than 4. Okay, I can simplify. I get x plus 2 minus x squared minus 2x. Okay, I add minus 4 to both sides. I have this one bigger than 0. Now we can have minus x squared minus x minus 2 bigger than 0. Okay, so now I multiply everything by a minus to get x squared plus x plus 2 is less than 0. Okay, so we can think of this one as a polynomial, quadratic polynomial. So let's call it p of x. So it's x squared plus x plus 2. So we find where this one becomes 0. So we use the discriminant. So we have 1 minus 4 times 2, which is minus 7, is less than 0. That means this one is never, there is no value that would make this one 0. So that means this inequality is never equal to 0. Okay, but there is one thing here. X squared plus x plus 2 is always bigger than 0 for all x's in our interval minus 2, 1. In fact, for all x in R. Okay, so there is no solution here. This means this one has no solution. There is no x even for this interval that would make this one true, because this one is positive all the time, but here we get negative. So there is no solution in this case. Okay, that means there is no x in this interval that would make the square root of this quantity bigger than 2. So that means this one is always, if it's false, that means it's always less than 2. Okay, so it's always under, if we graph it, geometric speaking, so 1, 2. So if this is 2, 1, 2, so y is 2. So if we graph this one, it's gonna be minus 2 and 1. So 1x is 0. It's gonna be square root of 2. It's 1 something. So it's gonna be something like this. And it's defined only on this interval. So that's the geometric meaning. So they don't intersect. They don't touch each other. And that means there is no solution. Okay? No values, no interval that would make this one true. Okay? So the key idea is always find your interval and start from there to find the solutions. Okay? So this is false. That means it's always less. Okay? Thank you very much.